So we're going to talk today about simple sentences in Japanese. We call them TSPOV sentences, and those involve action verbs. So when I say simple sentences, I'm not talking about the A is B, like des sentences, like kore wa ringo desu. That's des. I sometimes call these mas sentences. So what is TSPOV? TSPOV is the Japanese structure of sentences that have action verbs. Like I said, the T stands for time, S for subject, P for preposition, O for object, and V for verb. And like I said, they're sometimes called mas sentences because in the formal Japanese, they often end in mas or a form of mas. Mas is not the verb, it's just the suffix that goes on action verbs. So how is this different from English? Well, in English, we do the parts of the sentences are all in a different order. So I say, Jimmy played guitar at Woodstock. Well, Jimmy's my subject. The verb goes second. And then what he's playing is the guitar, so that's his object. That goes third. And then last comes the prepositional phrase, at Woodstock. But in Japanese, everything gets shuffled. So I say, Jimmy wa Woodstock de guitar o played. So it's the subject, and then the verb played, it comes last. And then the prepositional phrase that comes last in English, it comes second. And then the direct object is third. So it's subject, prepositional phrase, object, verb, or SPOV. Notice also after each part of speech, until you get to the verb, has a particle after it. So the subject will take wa, and the direct object takes o. Now it says guitar wo, but that's pronounced o. And then because it's at Woodstock, which marks a place, then we'll use the particle de after the word Woodstock. And they come after the parts, not before. Now, when it's all said and done, that comes to Jimmy wa Woodstock de guitar o hikimashita. So, how do I know which part goes first and second? How do you know what is a subject, what is a verb, what is a prepositional phrase? All right. Well, hopefully we can identify a verb. In English, it's usually the second part of the sentence, and it's action, right? So in this case, it's played. So we say, what's the verb? Played. Now I got to assign out what the subject is. So I say, what is doing the verb? Whatever does a verb is the subject. So that's Jimmy. What's receiving the verb, or what is being played? And in that case, it's the guitar. So that's your object. And is there a place or destination or a method to this verb? In this case, it's a place, and that's at Woodstock. So that's the preposition. All right, so Jimmy wa Woodstock de guitar o played. So that leaves the verb. And the verb in Japanese is kind of its own little monster. But we're going to keep this really simple and just go with mas. And if you look at the verb list I gave you on your team site, it has all the verbs listed with a mas ending. But of course, that just means plays. And Jimmy played the guitar at Woodstock in 1969. So we need to have played. So we're going to change plays, which is guitar o hikimasu, to played, which is the third one down here, guitar o hikimashita. All right. Now, if he doesn't play guitar anymore because Jimmy's dead, guitar o hikimasen, which is a little dark, but we'll just go with that. And finally, who didn't play their guitar? Eddie Van Halen didn't play the guitar at Woodstock, would be Eddie Van Halen wa Woodstock de guitar o hikimasen deshita. So that's the past tense and it's negative. So just to recap, Jimmy played guitar at Woodstock. Well, what's my verb? Played. All right. And so I've got hikimashita down there at the end. Well, who played it? So Jimmy. So Jimmy wa And then I ask myself, where did he play it? For my preposition, woodstoku de. And then I say, what did he play? Guitar o. And then finally, hikimashita. So Jimmy wa woodstoku de guitar o hikimashita. So if you take other subjects and other objects and other verbs and take these same principles and rearrange sentences, then you should be able to do simple sentences in Japanese. So good luck with that, and go ahead and try and do the daily verb assignment that you have.